Tabiso, after this long absence, I will need more information. Please provide a scan of your license, passport, or other form of ID, your current address, social security number. I really don't have time for this, Naledi muttered, the soothing hum of various expensive laboratory equipment masking the aggravation in her tone. She deleted the email with a jab at the trash can icon on the screen of her phone. The first couple of emails had been amusing, a welcome distraction from the rest of her inbox, which was primarily comprised of calendar reminders about study sessions, student loan payment nudges, data sets to be solved, and other evidence of grad school life. The emails had become less entertaining as the subject lines grew more urgent, and it became clear that this wasn't a random occurrence. Somewhere in the world, a scammer had zeroed in on her. The knowledge was disturbing to someone as private as Letty, and triggered a sense of helplessness all too familiar for a woman who'd been bounced through strangers' homes for most of her childhood. Ignoring the emails hadn't worked. The spammer had redoubled their efforts, undeterred by Letty's lack of response. She'd considered blocking messages from the sender, but it seemed scarier not knowing if she was receiving disturbing emails. Letty pushed her safety goggles up onto her thick curls, which she smoothed back and pulled into a puff ponytail, and mentally reviewed her to-do list. She'd already created the media needed for experiments, prepared slides, and input data that morning, so she'd actually be able to get some studying in. She hefted her copy of Modern Epidemiology from out of the backpack at her feet and slid it onto her desk. Balancing her lab assistant job, waitressing, and grad school hadn't seemed overly ambitious at first. Letty had been juggling jobs and school since she was 13. But as tension gripped the back of her neck at the thought of finals and experiments and what the hell the future held, she wondered if maybe she hadn't bitten off more than she could chew. She'd been lucky in that she'd transitioned from foster care to adulthood better than some people she'd been in the system with. But luck wasn't a statistically significant factor in planning her future. Making money, on the other hand, was a proven course of action, and having multiple sources of income was a safety net she couldn't live without. She didn't have family to turn to when times got rough, and one mistake at work or school could have a domino effect on the life plans she had so carefully been setting up. "Hey, Naledi." Brian, the postdoc, was suddenly hovering over her shoulder. Brian was super fun to work with. On her first day, she'd introduced herself, and he'd asked her to take out the trash more frequently. He thought she was the cleaning woman. He often stopped to explain basic concepts to Letty, and Letty alone, during lab meetings, while asking Kevin, the newbie, for his advice on how things should be run. So fun, that Brian. She turned to face him. His dark hair was sticking out every which way, and his face was unshaven. He looked stressed out, which wasn't unusual, but generally didn't bode well for her. "Hi, Brian," she said, trying to find the pleasant but deferential tone that seemed to edify him. She hated that she couldn't just talk to him like a normal human, but apparently there was something about her that had led him to tell Dr. Takitami, the lab's primary investigator and thus Letty's boss, that she was giving him attitude. Letty couldn't afford to be labeled as a problem. She'd wanted to be a scientist since her fourth-grade teacher had handed her a battered copy of National Geographic. Letty had been fascinated with the cover, a close-up shot of a woman with dark skin, just like hers, peering into a microscope. That scientist had been trying to cure a mysterious disease, and Letty had gleaned from the image not only that she wanted